My neighbor parked in my spot for the last time. What I did went viral. The video hit 3 million views in 6 hours. My neighbor's face, red with rage, screaming at a tow truck driver. His BMW being hooked up and hauled away. And the caption that made it explode. Entitled neighbor learns what happens when you ignore 47 warnings. But that was just the beginning. Within 48 hours, his employer had seen it. His homeowners association was calling emergency meetings. And the man who'd spent 2 years making my life hell was now the most hated person on the internet. All because he refused to stop parking in my assigned spot. I'm Troy Blackwell, and for 2 years I tried the nice approach. Asked politely, left notes, called the HOA, followed every rule in the book. He laughed at all of it, told me to deal with it because it's just a parking spot. He forgot one crucial detail. I create content for a living. I have 480,000 YouTube subscribers. And when you humiliate someone with an audience, you don't get embarrassed privately. You get embarrassed in front of millions. Justice must be restored and arrogance punished. You won't believe how one parking dispute destroyed an entitled bully's entire life. Before we continue, hit that subscribe button and drop a comment telling me where you're watching from. Trust me, you'll want to follow along for this one. I bought my condo in downtown Austin 3 years ago. Nothing fancy, but it's in a great neighborhood with assigned parking, spot number 47, right near the elevator. Perfect for hauling camera equipment, groceries, everything. For the first year, life was great. Quiet building, good neighbors, no drama. Then Brent moved into Unit 52. He was exactly what you'd picture, mid-30s, drove a silver BMW, worked in finance, and had that specific kind of arrogance that comes from making decent money and thinking it makes you special. Within his first week, I knew he was going to be a problem. The first time it happened, I thought it was an honest mistake. I came home from shooting a video, and his BMW was in my spot. My assigned, clearly marked, paid for parking spot. I left a polite note on his windshield. Hi neighbor, you're in spot number 47. That's my assigned space. My spot is around the corner in visitor parking. Thanks. The next morning, I found the note crumpled on the ground next to my car. The second time, I knocked on his door. Hey man, I'm Troy from 43. You parked in my spot again last night. He barely looked up from his phone. Yeah, I got in late. Visitor parking was full. No big deal. Actually, it is a big deal. I had to park 3 blocks away and carry all my equipment. Dude, it's just a parking spot. He finally looked at me, and his expression was pure dismissal. Don't be so uptight about it. I pay for that spot. It's assigned, and I'll move it when I feel like it. Relax. He closed the door in my face. I stood there stunned. I'd lived in apartments my whole adult life, had plenty of neighbors, but I'd never met someone so casually disrespectful. I thought it was just 2 incidents. A rude guy having bad days. It would blow over. I was wrong. Over the next 6 months, Brent parked in my spot 17 more times. Each time I asked him to stop, his responses got more hostile. Get over it. It's just a parking space, drama queen. Maybe if you had a real job instead of making YouTube videos, you could afford a building with better parking. That last one stung. I make good money from content creation. 6 figures a year. But people like Brent see YouTuber and assume you're not a real professional. I tried everything reasonable. Left multiple polite notes. Spoke to him calmly. Called the property manager, who sent him warning emails he ignored. Filed complaints with the HOA, who sent certified letters he also ignored. Nothing worked. What made it worse was how he'd smirk at me in the hallway. Like it was a game. Like watching me haul equipment from blocks away while he took my convenient spot was entertainment. Still mad about the parking? He'd ask with a grin. You really need to learn to let things go, Troy. My girlfriend Autumn kept telling me to do something more drastic. He's bullying you. Stop playing nice. This guy responds to consequences, not conversations. But I kept trying the proper channels. The adult way. The reasonable approach. What Brent didn't know was that I'd been documenting everything. Every time he parked in my spot. Every conversation. Every ignored note. Every dismissive comment. I'm a content creator. I film everything. But my neighbor was about to cross a line that would cost him everything he held dear. Month 8. I'd asked Brent to stop parking in my spot 43 times. Yes, I counted. I had a spreadsheet. He'd ignored me 43 times. Then one Thursday night, I came home at 11 p.m. after filming a collaboration video across town. Exhausted. carrying 3 bags of camera gear. Just wanted to get upstairs and crash. His BMW was in my spot. Again, I'd finally had enough. Instead of my usual routine of sighing and parking 3 blocks away, I did something different. I called a towing company. "Hi, I need a car towed from my private assigned parking space." "Yes, I have documentation." "Yes, I'm authorized." "Yes, I understand the fees." 20 minutes later, a tow truck arrived. The driver looked at my documentation, my lease showing spot number 47 as my assigned space, photos of the BMW repeatedly parked there, HOA rules about towing unauthorized vehicles. "This is pretty clear-cut," he said. "Want me to hook it up?" I hesitated. This felt nuclear. But then I remembered Brent's smirk. His get-over-it attitude. 8 months of disrespect. "Yeah, do it." Watching that BMW get hooked up and lifted onto the tow truck felt like justice. Sweet, mechanical justice. I filmed the whole thing. Not for content. Just for documentation in case Brent tried to claim it was illegal. 20 minutes after the truck left, my doorbell rang. I looked through the peephole. Brent. Absolutely furious. I opened the door. "What's up? Where's my car?" He was shaking with rage. "What did you do?" "Your car? You mean the one that was illegally parked in my assigned spot? It got towed." "You can't do that." "Actually, I can. It's in the HOA rules. Section 8, Paragraph 3. Unauthorized vehicles in assigned spots are subject to towing at owner's expense." This is insane. I need my car. I have work tomorrow. Then maybe you shouldn't have parked in someone else's spot. For the 44th time. His face went from red to purple. "You've been counting?" "I've been documenting. Every single time. Every note I left that you ignored. Every conversation where you dismissed me. Every warning from the HOA you laughed off. All of it. You're psychotic. It's just a parking spot. It's my parking spot. That I pay for. That you've been stealing for 8 months while treating me like I'm the problem for asking you to stop." He stepped closer, trying to intimidate me. "You better get my car back. Now." "Can't do that. You'll need to contact the tow company, pay the fees, and get it yourself. The number's on the sign right there in the parking lot. You know, the sign you've been ignoring for 8 months. This isn't over." "Yeah, it is. Park in my spot again, and I'll tow you again. Every single time. Until you learn that other people's property isn't yours to take." I closed the door. He stood outside yelling for another 5 minutes before finally leaving. I thought that would be the end of it. A harsh lesson learned. Maybe we'd both move on. Little did I know, I was just getting started. The next morning, I woke up to find my car keyed. Deep scratches along the entire passenger side. Had to be Brent. The security cameras would prove it. I called the property manager immediately. "I need to see the parking lot security footage from last night. I'll pull it and get back to you." 2 hours later, she called back. "Troy, I've got the footage. It's definitely your neighbor from 52. He's clearly visible keying your car at 2:47 a.m. Do you want to file a police report?" "Absolutely." But as I was getting ready to head to the police station, something occurred to me. I create viral content for a living. I understand social media. I know what makes videos explode. And I had 8 months of documented evidence of an entitled neighbor harassing me over parking, plus fresh footage of him vandalizing my car in retaliation for enforcing my rights. This wasn't just a police matter anymore. This was content. You won't believe what I discovered when I reviewed all my footage. I spent the entire weekend editing. Pulled every video clip I had. Brent parking in my spot repeatedly. Timestamped footage showing him doing it 47 different times. Videos of my polite notes left on his windshield. Clips of me asking him to stop. His dismissive get-over-it responses. Security footage of the BMW getting towed. Security footage of him keying my car in revenge. I created a timeline. 8 months. 47 parking violations. Multiple ignored warnings from me and the HOA. Ending with him committing vandalism because I dared to enforce consequences. The video practically edited itself. A story of an average person dealing with an entitled bully. Someone who thought rules didn't apply to him. Someone who faced 0 consequences until he finally pushed too far. I titled it, "Entitled Neighbor Parks in My Spot 47 Times. Here's What Finally Stopped Him." Uploaded it Monday morning. Shared it to my 480,000 subscribers. Within 1 hour, it had 50,000 views. Within 3 hours, 300,000. By that evening, it was trending on YouTube. The comments were nuclear. I'm so tired of entitled people thinking they can do whatever they want. This guy got what he deserved. You tried everything reasonable. The fact that he vandalized your car proves what kind of person he is. By the time I discovered this was going viral, I had enough evidence to destroy him completely. But that wasn't enough. I wanted everyone who'd ever dealt with someone like Brent to see that consequences exist. What would you do if your neighbor treated you like this? Drop your thoughts in the comments. By Tuesday morning, the video had 3 million views. It had jumped from YouTube to Twitter, then Instagram, then TikTok. People were screen recording it, sharing clips, making reaction videos. Brent's face was everywhere. His silver BMW was everywhere. And everyone was on my side. Local news in Austin picked it up. Parking dispute goes viral. Neighbor's entitlement caught on camera. Then something unexpected happened. People started identifying Brent. That's the guy who works at Highland Financial. I recognize him from their office. I went to college with this dude. He was exactly like this back then too. This is Brent Holloway. He lives in the Riverside complex. I'm in the same building. The internet does what the internet does. They found everything. His LinkedIn, his employer, his social media profiles. Within 24 hours, Brent Holloway's entire digital life was exposed. And the internet was not kind. His employer's social media got flooded with comments. This is who you employ? Someone who vandalizes cars. Does Highland Financial support theft and property damage? Imagine trusting this guy with your finances when he can't respect basic parking rules. Highland Financial posted a statement. We are aware of the viral video involving one of our employees. We take these matters seriously and are conducting an internal review. This is where my plan became truly devastating. I filed a formal police report about the vandalism. The security footage was crystal clear, Brent intentionally keying my car in retaliation. The property manager confirmed the footage's authenticity. The police took it seriously because of the viral video. Millions of people were watching. They couldn't just brush it off. They arrested Brent at his office on Wednesday. Charged him with criminal mischief, malicious destruction of property. Someone filmed his arrest and posted it online. It got 800,000 views in 4 hours. The schadenfreude was real. People were taking screenshots of his mugshot, making memes. The entitled parking spot guy had become a cautionary tale. What Brent didn't understand was that I hadn't just documented his behavior. I'd created a narrative that resonated with millions of people who dealt with entitled bullies like him. They thought they were dealing with some YouTuber who'd back down. They were about to learn they'd messed with someone who understood the power of going viral. By Thursday, Highland Financial had fired Brent. They released a statement. After reviewing the incident involving our former employee, we have terminated his employment effective immediately. His actions do not reflect our company values or the behavior we expect from our team. The video now had 8 million views. It was on Good Morning America, Inside Edition, The Daily Mail. CNN did a segment about parking rage culture. I became the parking spot guy. Invitations for podcast interviews. News outlets wanting comments. Other content creators wanting to collaborate. But the best part? The HOA called an emergency meeting. See, Brent had violated multiple community rules over the 8 months. The parking violations. The vandalism. But the HOA had been slow to act because enforcing rules is messy and they'd hoped we'd work it out ourselves. Now that millions of people were watching, suddenly they cared about enforcement. The HOA president called me. Troy, we're holding a hearing about Mr. Holloway's violations. We'd like you to present your documentation. I showed up with everything. Printed timeline. Photos. Videos. The police report about the vandalism. Character statements from other neighbors who'd had issues with Brent. Turns out I wasn't his only victim. He'd been terrible to multiple people. Loud parties at 2 a.m. that he'd ignore complaints about. Rude to the maintenance staff. Had gotten into a screaming match with an elderly neighbor over her walking too slowly in the hallway. The HOA voted unanimously to fine him $5,000 for the repeated parking violations and to begin eviction proceedings based on the vandalism charge. Brent's lawyer sent me a cease and desist letter demanding I take down the video. Defamation, harassment, invasion of privacy. My lawyer laughed. Everything in that video is factual and documented. Security camera footage from common areas. His behavior in public spaces. This is protected speech. Tell him to pound sand. I didn't take the video down. Instead, I made a follow-up video addressing his cease and desist letter. That one got 4 million views. The internet was ruthless. Imagine being so entitled you vandalize someone's car and then try to sue them for showing the evidence. This guy really thought he could threaten a YouTuber with lawyers and it would help his situation. If you're enjoying watching entitled people face consequences, hit that subscribe button for more stories like this. The story just kept growing. By week 2, I'd been interviewed by 3 major publications. BuzzFeed did a deep dive. How one man's parking dispute became 2024's most viral revenge story. People magazine did a piece on entitled neighbor culture and used Brent as the prime example. His face was literally on magazine covers with headlines like, "The most hated neighbor in America." Local Austin businesses started putting up signs, "No Brent Holloway parking." It became a meme, a cultural moment. When someone acted entitled online, people would comment, "Don't be a Brent Holloway." But here's where it got really wild. A woman named Chelsea reached out to me through Instagram. I dated Brent 2 years ago. He was exactly like this. Entitled, disrespectful, refused to acknowledge when he was wrong. I have stories that would blow your mind. She sent me screenshots. Messages where Brent had been verbally abusive. Stories of him treating service workers terribly. How he deliberately parked in her roommate's spot when he visited just to assert dominance. I didn't share her stuff. That felt like crossing a line into his private life. But it confirmed what I already knew. This wasn't a one-time thing. This was who Brent was as a person. Other people started coming forward. A former co-worker who said Brent had stolen credit for his project. A college roommate who said Brent had been kicked out of their shared apartment for not paying rent but refusing to leave. Pattern after pattern of entitlement and bullying. The video hit 15 million views. It was being shown in driver's ed classes as an example of what not to do. It was being discussed in conflict resolution seminars. Law professors were using it in classes about property rights. I'd created a cultural phenomenon by accident, just by standing up to a bully. But the best part was yet to come. Brent's criminal case went to trial. The evidence was overwhelming. Security footage showing him clearly vandalizing my car. The prosecutor called it one of the clearest cases of retaliation vandalism I've seen. The judge ordered him to pay restitution for the damage to my car, $3,400 for repairs, plus court costs, plus 100 hours of community service. But here's the kicker. Because the case was so high profile, the judge added something unusual. "Mr. Holloway, your actions have shown a pattern of entitlement and disregard for others' property rights. As part of your community service, you will work 50 of those hours specifically for a property management company, helping residents with parking enforcement. Perhaps this experience will teach you respect for other people's space." The courtroom erupted in laughter. Even some people watching via the public live stream were cackling. Brent would have to enforce the exact rules he'd spent 8 months violating. The irony was poetic. His lawyer tried to appeal the community service requirement. "It's punitive and unusual. It's appropriate," the judge interrupted. "Denied." After the trial, I updated my video with the outcome. That update got 3 million views on its own. The HOA successfully evicted Brent. He had 30 days to vacate Unit 52. I filmed the moving truck from my window, posted a short clip with the caption, "And just like that, spot number 47 is safe forever." That clip got 2.2 million views. Local news did a follow-up story. Viral parking dispute ends with neighbor's eviction. Brent moved out of Austin entirely. Someone spotted him in Dallas and posted about it online. The internet never forgets. His reputation was permanently destroyed. Google his name, and the first 50 results are about the parking spot incident. His LinkedIn was deactivated. His social media went private. He'd become unemployable in finance. Who wants to hire the guy famous for being an entitled bully? All because he couldn't respect a parking spot. Share this story if you think entitled people deserve consequences. And drop a comment about the worst neighbor you've ever had. The day before Brent moved out, he knocked on my door. I almost didn't answer. But curiosity won. He looked terrible, worn down. The arrogance was gone, replaced by something that looked like desperation. "Can we talk?" His voice was quiet. Nothing like the dismissive tone from months ago. "You've got 5 minutes." We sat in my living room. He looked around at all my video equipment, my editing setup, the YouTube plaques on my wall showing subscriber milestones. "I lost everything," he said finally. "My job, my apartment, my reputation. I can't get hired anywhere, because your video is the first thing that comes up when employers Google me. Okay, that's it. Just okay. What do you want me to say, Brent? You parked in my spot 47 times. I asked you nicely to stop 47 times. You dismissed me every single time. Then when I enforced basic property rights, you vandalized my car. I was angry, and I was patient. For 8 months, I tried everything reasonable. You chose to escalate at every opportunity. Can you take the video down? Please. It's ruining my life. It already ruined your life. Taking it down now won't change anything. Every news outlet, every meme, every article, that's all out there forever. Deleting my video won't delete the internet. This is insane. It was just a parking spot. And there it was. Even now, after losing everything, he still didn't get it. No, Brent. It wasn't just a parking spot. It was respect. It was boundaries. It was basic human decency. You couldn't grasp any of those concepts, and now you're facing the consequences. I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry I parked in your spot. I'm sorry I keyed your car. What more do you want? I don't want anything from you. This apology is 8 months too late and only happening because you're suffering consequences. You're not sorry you did it. You're sorry you got caught and that it went viral. So what now? I'm just supposed to live with being the most hated person on the internet. You're supposed to learn from this. Learn that other people matter. That rules exist for a reason. That you can't just take what you want because you feel entitled to it. He stood up, anger flashing across his face one more time. You destroyed my life over a parking spot. No, you destroyed your own life. I just documented it. You had 47 chances to stop. 47 opportunities to show basic respect. You chose arrogance every single time. This is on you. He left without another word. The next day, the moving truck came. I watched from my window as they loaded his furniture. He never looked up at my unit. Just got in his car and drove away. I never saw Brent Holloway again. That was 9 months ago. The video now has 23 million views. It's still getting comments daily. My YouTube channel exploded after the parking video went viral. Gained 340,000 new subscribers. Brands started reaching out for sponsorships. I got invited to speak at a creator conference about authentic storytelling. I moved to a bigger condo in a different building. This one has a garage with a locked gate. No more parking drama. But here's the unexpected part. I get messages every single day from people thanking me. People who've dealt with entitled neighbors, entitled coworkers, entitled family members. People who felt powerless against bullies. Your video gave me the courage to stand up to my boss who was stealing credit for my work. I filed an HOA complaint about my neighbor after seeing that consequences actually exist. Thank you for showing that documentation and persistence matter. I started a whole series on my channel about standing up to entitled behavior. It's become my most popular content. Turns out millions of people are tired of being pushed around and watching others face no consequences. The lesson? In 2024, everything can go viral. Your behavior matters because it might end up in front of millions of people. The way you treat others has consequences, and those consequences can be permanent. Brent Holloway thought he was dealing with someone who'd back down. Instead, he created a viral sensation that destroyed his own reputation and career. All because he couldn't respect a parking spot. The internet never forgets. And sometimes, justice doesn't come from the system. It comes from millions of people watching and deciding you're in the wrong. If you enjoyed this story about entitled people facing real consequences, make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell. I post new videos every Tuesday and Friday about standing up to bullies and watching karma work. And seriously, respect people's parking spots. You never know who has 480,000 subscribers. Drop a comment about the most entitled person you've ever encountered. I read every single one, and your story might inspire my next video. Justice was served. The internet delivered the verdict. And somewhere out there, Brent Holloway is learning that actions have consequences.
If this story got you thinking, go ahead and hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe for more real stories that hit deep, and tap the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. And hey, if you know someone who needs to hear this one, share it with them. Thanks for watching.